are sponsoring, we ask them to really seriously consider the commitment that they can give. And I'm thoroughly looking forward to watching Omar and seeing how he progresses as he goes through his school life.
You just mentioned that last night you had a fundraiser of which the parents and the school came together and hosted it. What is the relationship between the parents of the children sponsored and the charity organization?
There's a fantastic relationship, actually, I have to say. Both the pupils, both the staff and the teacher and the parents work very closely together. So the Parent-Teacher Association forms part of the senior management sort of subcommittees to ensure that the parents are directly involved in the school and in the decisions which are made about the school. So as well as raising funds, they also give their advice and their opinions to the school management team about how it is from their perspective as a parent. In respect of how they get on with the UK charity, I've not seen any issues myself, I have to say. Actually, the parents are quite often very thankful that someone else has decided that they would like to take an interest in their child and to provide some help towards their education. The parents also provide some financial provision for their education, so it's a joint affair, it's a partnership.
When trustees or donors back in England or wherever in the world who sponsor or send funds to the school see the parents and the organization get that close relationship,
absolutely,
does it provide for a room for more an advantage for the charity?
Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, as a sponsor myself, I have been absolutely thrilled to get to know my sponsor child personally and to get to know his family. I've really enjoyed getting to know the other members of the family, and they've been incredibly hospitable to me, sort of inviting me for dinner and asking me into their home to spend time with them. I've really enjoyed that part of it. It's about making a human connection. It's not a business transaction. It's a young child's life, and it's their opportunity to have education. And so actually it's hugely important to build those relationships and really work at it as a partnership. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity. Sponsors enjoy the opportunity. They like to see how their child is developing, and so a couple of times a year, people from the UK who sponsor children over in the Gambia will come and visit to see their child, to have a wonderful time in this beautiful country, and to meet the parents again and see how the school is getting along. So it creates very much a human relationship rather than simply being a donation or, you know, as what might seem a business transaction. So that personal connection is incredibly important.
What's the level of gratification when you sponsor a child? And you see that the child is doing well?
Oh, just huge, absolutely enormous. I feel so proud when the child that I'm sponsoring succeeds. I feel incredibly proud. When he's worried, I feel worried. When he feels challenged, I want to see how I can help him to overcome whatever challenge it is. It's a really personal relationship, and it's one that I'm very excited about having. It's like having an adopted child, really. They may not be yours personally, but you feel for them in the same way you would one of your own children, and that's lovely.
Can charity organizations access funds from government?
Yes,
the
they
British
can.
government?
Yes, they can. There are various pots of money available. Whether or not a particular charity is eligible for a particular pot of money that's available, whether it's funding from DFID or another ministry organisation, will depend on what the charity does and what the criterion for accessing that money are. I'm not aware that there is any specific funding available from the British government which would cover this situation, but certainly there are other areas, particularly in the areas of health and women's empowerment, gender empowerment, where there is money available through DFID and the programs that it runs for other NGOs to approach them and ask to partner on particular projects.
You have just come to the Gambia. This is your first time to the Gambia.
It is, yes, that's right.
And when you came, that's the time you sponsor a child.
Mm-hmm.
You just walk into the school,
yep,
see a child, and say, that's the one.
No, I've been working there. Well, as I said, I'm here to do this consultancy work, and it hadn't actually been part of my plan originally to come and sponsor a child, but part of the work that I've been doing, I've been particularly working with grade 1, helping them with their singing and their English because it's good fun really. And so I got to know all the children in the class, and the more I got to know them as a group, the more I realized that the last thing I want is for one of those children to get to the end of their grade 1 and not have a sponsor to continue supporting them through. Now, there are a number of children still without a sponsor, and I felt that it was a commitment that I would like to make because they are just a fabulous, fabulous group of kids. I particularly chose the little boy that I've selected because I was so impressed with his attitude and his work ethic. He really works hard. He's always the first to volunteer and to help. He goes home and he does extra study, and he's been really just very good fun. They're all fabulous children, and I wouldn't hesitate to sponsor any of them, but unfortunately I can only manage one.
This is the interview, and my guest is Louise Ewington. She is an English consultant and presently doing some consultancy at the Seedlings Lower Basic School. In case you don't know that, that's somewhere in Manjaikunda.
That's right.
Now, this school, how is the curriculum like?
The curriculum absolutely follows the Gambian curriculum as set out by the Ministry of Education. There is no diversion from that. As a Gambian school, even though it's a private school, it must adhere to the Gambian curriculum. One of the difficulties that as a private school they have faced is that it's very difficult to get hold of textbooks. The public schools, which are state-funded obviously, are provided with their textbooks, but the challenge has been to get that same curriculum for the private schools. So that's one area that actually we can talk with the ministry, we can talk with the Board of Education and see whether there's a way that we can buy the resources from the ministry directly, even for the private schools, because otherwise it is very difficult to get hold of those books. But the Gambian curriculum is absolutely set by the Ministry of Education, and that is what is followed.
Books are the problem.
Books are one problem.
What are you doing to make sure that you meet the minister? I mean, she is a very wonderful lady, by the way. Her name is Fatula Fai, very strong, very much in the limelight. She wants to see that our ministry achieves the best.
Yes.
She wants our ministry to be the best of all ministries in the Gambia. I wish her well, but it's very easy for me to call her and say, well, Seedlings for Christ, they have a problem with getting the books.
That would be fabulous. In the meantime, I've got a very big roll of sellotape, and I'm busy sticking all the pages back into all the textbooks.
Meaning that you photocopy the book if you have a...
No, just to reinforce the pages, because they get worn and used, and so I'm reinforcing the spine of the pages by sellotaping all the pages in.
Now, let me make this very clear. You cannot get these books from the bookshops.
No.
It's not possible.
No.
So the public schools are supplied by the ministry, and that's where it stops.
That's my understanding.
That's your understanding.
That's my understanding.
We'll have to find out whether that's true or not. I'm sure the Honourable Minister might not miss this program anyway. Yes. All right, let me get still on the school.
Sure.
And how are the children reacting to all of this? Seeing that here we have a lot of what we call trubabs.
Yes.
Running our school. Mm-hmm. They're comfortable.
They are comfortable. I think children are far more flexible than we are as adults. They don't recognise the same boundaries and the same discriminations that perhaps we do when we get older. So as far as they're concerned, their sponsor is their sponsor, and they treat that person as a member of their family in the way they would. The staff at the school, with the exception of one volunteer, are all locally engaged. They are all local Gambian staff, and so actually the running of the school, there are odd visits, twice a year. You have this wave of tubabs come in, and they disrupt the class for 2 weeks and sort of take lots of photographs. But the rest of the time, the school is run as a Gambian school by Gambian staff, and there are just 1 or 2 volunteers like myself who are around about in order to just assist the staff with what they're doing in some capacity or another. So ordinarily, it just runs as a normal Gambian school would.
Does the school, Seedlings Lower Basic School, try to tap in some sponsorship from tourists who come to the Gambia, especially those in the hotels here? Because I am involved with